Hey there, buddy. How do you feel? Oh, been better, that's for sure. What is this place? And shit. Who are you? Don't worry, not an illusion. There's a perfectly rational explanation to this. Just let me ask you some control questions first, okay? Sure. Fire away. Do you remember your name? Yeah. Jan. Dolsky. And what's your role on this mission? I'm a refinery operator. Oh, you look like me, but also not like me. Are we brothers or something? We have the same DNA, but we led separate lives. So, in a way, you could say so. In a way? Whatever you're trying to tell me, stop beating around the bush, okay? All right then. You're my alter. I created you with the use of rupidium. Rupidium? Yeah, we did it. It's here. Wow. You hear that, Ben? Ben? What Ben? Huh? Oh, never mind. Hey, wait. What was that you said about creating me? Look, you've obviously still not recovered from the shock. Why don't you rest a little and read the mission logs? They'll put it in perspective. We can talk more when the meds wear off. The meds. Yeah, that explains a lot. Not everything, but I feel like there's something more to this feeling of being so light, weak, you know? Just relax and take it slow. You'll feel stronger in no time. Okay, yeah. Maybe. And hell, I can't wait to see rupidium. You will soon. I promise. I'm cheers. These rocks look like they might be passable. If only I had a tool to drill through them. About time. I'm in some deep shit here.
So you're not at your destination yet?
I'm stuck. We're stuck. There's a freaking lava river blocking our way.
Do you think you can cross it?
I don't know. Still working on it. Anyway, you can help me?
I can try. I have a limited view of the surface of your planet, but there is one thing you could do.
What's that?
You have a lot of very useful tech on board that base. It's designed to overcome practically any obstacle. All you need is a properly trained crew, if you know what I mean.
More altars. Is that all you have for me?
You still don't get it, do you? That's a lot. If it helps, I have some news for you. Good news and, well, just news.
Hit me with the good news first.
A rescue party is being organized.
Organized. You mean they're not on their way yet? What the hell are you waiting for?
Mr. Dosky, please, calm down. No matter how long the procession, it will always end up in church.
What?
Just the thing my grandma used to say when I was a kid and tired of doing my homework.
Except this is not about your homework.
Sure. But you gotta understand, your mission got dispatched pretty far away. We still haven't mastered teleport.
So, what's the other news?
Well, I know you have a lot on your plate right now, but there's a request from my boss directly. Before we get you out of there, we want you to retrieve as much Rapidium as possible.
Oh, come on. Now? When I'm in the middle of this shit?
Yeah, I know. But the middle of this shit is the reason, Mr. Dosky. If it's true that there's a lot of it there, we just can't leave it to waste. With the sun coming and all.
I really don't know what to say to that.
It's sure gonna give your rescue mission wings, if that's your kind of incentive.
Of course.
My boss will want to speak to you shortly. And you'll see how important it is. He's not some kind of empty three-piece suit if that's what you're afraid of. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but it was his idea to, you know, let you in on the branching procedure. By the way, is your altar doing any better?
Yeah. We're getting along pretty well now. Thanks.
That's very good to hear.
Is this about you wanting to talk to him again?
No. No, none of that. My boss put it out of my mind. That's not to mess things up even more.
So, you admit it's a mess.
What? No, we just... You know what? I'm not commenting on that. Talk to my boss about it.
Okay. I better get back to work then.
Yes. Just remember about the Rapidium, Mr. Dulski. and wait for contact from my boss.
So, had enough time to come to terms with the situation?
I'm fine, thanks. There's not much that can bring me down. But I still feel much weaker than usual. Funny, earlier today I tried to lift a container and I couldn't.
Maybe it's the side effects of cryosleep. Don't worry, you'll get back in shape in a jiffy.
I don't know. I need to put on at least 15 pounds by the looks of it. Plus, no offense, lose the excess fat too. I'm not sure we have the time for that here. Operating the refinery requires stamina, you know?
Being strong seems to matter a lot to you.
A little extra confidence never hurt anyone. Not that it was ever my priority. I just like the physical activity. It helped clear my head of problems.
Your problems are gone here. It's a chance to wipe the slate clean.
Maybe, but I still can't get my head around one thing.
What's that?
Like, if everything that happened to me isn't true, then does that apply to the people I knew too? I mean, did they exist, but in some different version as well?
It's possible, yes.
Huh. So, hypothetically, someone who in my mind is, let's say, dead could actually still be alive?
Hypothetically?
Totally.
Theoretically, everything's possible.
That's overwhelming. Shit. I think I need to get my mind on something else.
Good idea. Focus on the work. We'll still have a lot to do before we get out of here.
Right. Work. Sure. See you around then.
Got a minute for me? Hey there. You wanted to talk about something? Yeah. I've been thinking about the branching thing. It's so confusing. Tell me about it. I mean, remember how I told you about my body? The one I know versus this one? Well, I don't get it. Why is it exactly that we're created with different minds, like, different beverages or snacks, but then we all end up in the same packaging? It doesn't make much sense. Well, it's not the packaging that matters most. It's the content. That's what they say. But you don't brew ale only to pour it into plastic bottles. My skills, my whole personality derives from a certain lifestyle. And that makes my mind and body inseparable. That's how it feels to me. Huh. I never looked at it that way. I know, and honestly, I find it a little hard to understand. I mean, how can you be so careless about your body? It's the only one you'll ever have, man. Why'd you let it become so neglected? I guess I just couldn't be bothered to make the effort. Funny. Now that I look at it, you probably didn't have my motivation. Which was? Well, for me, it all started when I moved abroad. After Mom died, I decided to stay there, and for a while it was pretty lonely out there. Didn't you have friends? Not at first, no. You can laugh, but I was a little apprehensive to jump into a new environment. It was just work and sleep, and some bad eating habits. So that's when you started working out. Out of boredom at first. Then, kind of became a fun thing. I made friends, started going out a lot, but by that time, the gym had become an important part of my routine. I drank less, slept better, and it just made me feel in control of my life, I get you. Now that you told me the whole story. Thanks. Maybe if I could get back to my routine here, at least in some way, it could really help me shake off all this anxiety. I'd probably sleep better, feel more like me. Do you think there's a chance you could help me get my hands on some exercise equipment here? I could try. Really? Thanks, bro. I knew I could confide in you. Hey, how are you feeling? Well, I'll be damned. You okay? surprisingly okay, especially considering what I'm seeing. Very clearly. Good. Do you, remember your name? Of course. But... I think you know perfectly well who I am. So let's not waste time. Just tell me, how much did you find? What? How much rupidium is there? Did we get a breakthrough? You bet. There's a lot of it. Good. That's good. Wait, how do you know? Well, isn't it obvious? I wake up seeing someone who looks and sounds like me, which has to mean we share the same DNA. Then there's the glasses. What about them? They're fake. Probably just manufactured to make me feel more like myself, but completely unnecessary otherwise, because here I am with perfectly good eyesight in the womb module, which can only lead to one conclusion: that my body was created to replicate someone who doesn't wear glasses. You. And to do that, of course, you would need to have found rupidium. Besides, I can see no other explanation for a sheep inside a space base. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wow, you're right. That's impressive. I did create you out of my DNA. We're not identical, of course. I can see you're not as quick to process information, and that's the interesting part. Yeah, our bodies are the same, but our minds are not. I needed a scientist on board, but there's always a scientist on board. So, what went wrong? The old crew is gone. They're all dead. That's why I needed to alter myself into different versions. With the use of the quantum computer on board and something called mind records. Oh, I see. A recalculated mind based on an infinite amount of variables to contain the desired consciousness in a biological vessel. That actually sounds plausible. So, what do you need from me now? Why don't you rest a little? Get accustomed to the new reality? Which part of what I just said makes you think I'm not ready to start immediately? Well, in that case, your situation must be critical considering the lengths you went to. Something tells me there's no time to lose. You're right. Why don't you start with going through the mission logs? I need to get the full picture first. My thoughts exactly. Good. This might work. Rid of you. Never thought I'd be so glad to see a sheep. So, how are you? Settling in all right? Settling in is overrated. I analyze reality from wherever I am, however uncomfortable the angle. There's always an observation to be made. I'd love to hear what you managed to observe. This place is not run optimally. Yeah, I know. I wasn't trained to command a mission. But now that you're here, with your experience, I'd love to pick your brain. Do you think you could mentor me? Good thinking. First of all, you need to set long-term goals and draw up a roadmap for each of them. Remember to include all unpredictable variables in the equation. That way you can have contingency plans at the ready for each instance. All right, slow down. Prioritize resources. Do not waste time on idle conversations with the crew. Hide the booze. Don't be cheap on coffee. That's slow enough for you? Hey, just crossed out every team-building exercise on my list. The people are there for the mission, not the other way round. Truth is, I really wish we could make use of the tech I worked on for all these imaginary years. It would make things so much easier if it existed. Yeah, I understand how lousy that must feel. Honestly, I don't think you do. But I hope we're not going to sit around crying about it. There's work to be done, here and now. That's true. Well, let's get to it then. I have something for you. The exercise equipment you asked for.
Awesome, man! I knew I could rely on you. Can't wait to try these babies out.